Ratnabhushan, a friend, motivator, and guide to IAS aspirant, international motivational speaker, leadership trainer, CEO, coach, political strategist, and policy advisor. Welcome to ASGIS. ASGIS, the leading institute for IAS preparation, believe in quality, commitment, and success. The mission of the ASG is to pursue the endeavor to nurture the young talent which will place India at the top of the world in administration. Join our Success Foundation course. Join ours. We are discussing about the General Strategy Mains Paper 1997. Question number Part 7, 97. Part 7. Present your views for and against the creation of an All India Judicial Service. Present your views for and against the creation of All India Judicial Service. In India, there are three All India services at present: Indian Administrative Service (IAS), Indian Police Service (IPS), and Indian Forest Service (IFS). Having concern with the efficiency and ability of these services, it is argued that All India Judicial Service should be created on the same footings. In India, the Supreme Court is the highest judicial body, and states have the high courts at the highest judicial position, working with courts subordinate to it. If an All India Judicial Service is created, the judges of the subordinate courts can be appointed by this service. Points of arguments are raised for and against the suggestion. So, for number one, it will provide a services of intelligent and efficient officer to all over the country. Number two, it will create cadres of states, and this will help the disposal of the cases and fair services and justice by efficient officer. Third, it will maintain a uniform level of service. Fourth, if necessary, the services of officer can be availed for some other part of nation. Against, number one, officers appointed may not be well aware of the customs, culture, and socio-economic life of the place of appointment, and so it may lead to ignorance in the delivery of judgments. 2. Directive principle of separation of judiciary. Directive principle of separation of judiciary from executive will violated. Third, the hold of executive over the judiciary cannot be denied. Transfer of judges, promotions, etc. may politicize even judiciary. It may be concluded that although judiciary should not fall in the hands of executive, and yet to create All India Judicial Service will be desirable, and so selection and appointment at national level can be suggested. The next question: discuss the factors responsible for the rise of regionalism in India. How does it influence the political system? Discuss the factors responsible for the rise of regionalism in India. How does it influence the political system? Regionalism is favoring a particular region due to personal likeness or attachment with it. Due to regionalism, a person forgets the unity of nation and starts to plead for his favorite region. These feelings of regionalism disturb the balance among various parts of the nation. In India, it has grown due to the following factors. Number one, historical factors. The history has divided India into perfect parts and hence differentiated as the Aryans and Dravidians. Number two, geographical factors. Indian geography has divided the country in many parts. The resources, industry, soil, irrigation, etc. not similar, and therefore they also cause difference among the people. Number third, political factors. For some selfish purposes, many regional parties have sprung out and they have proved obstacle in national interest. Fourth factor, economical factors. Uneven economic development of various parts of the country has also played a role in regionalism. And fifth factor, language, culture, custom, etc. These factors have played major role in creating feelings of regionalism, especially among the illiterates or less educated people. Apart from this one, I would like to tell you historical perspective. that after the cancellation of the partition of Bengal in 1911, British divided Bengal in different provinces like Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, Assam. So it was also one of the genesis of creating regionalism in Indian politics by the British Empire. Such regionalism has disturbed harmony and smooth relationship among various states with the center. As the result, has led to obstacle in the development. Next question: what, according to Supreme Court, constituted the basic feature which it upheld in cases known as basic features? Regarding the basic features, first of all, I would like to share you what is the basic features of Indian Constitution, elements of the basic structure. The present position is that the Parliament under Article 368, this I have taken from Lakshmikant book. The present position is that Parliament under Article 368 can amend any part of the Constitution, including the fundamental rights, but without affecting the basic structure of the Constitution. However, the Supreme Court is yet to define or clarify as to what constitutes the basic structure of the Constitution. From the various judgments, the following have emerged as a basic feature of the Constitution or elements, components, ingredients of the basic structure of the Constitution. Number 1, supremacy of the Constitution. 2, sovereign, democratic and republican nature of the Indian polity. 3rd, secular character of the Constitution. 4, separation of powers between the legislature, the executive and judiciary. 5th, federal character of the Constitution. 6th, unity and integrity of the nation. 7th, welfare state, socio-economic justice. 8th, judicial review. 9th, freedom and dignity of individual. 10th, parliamentary system. 11th, rule of law. 12, harmony and balance between fundamental rights and directive principles. 13th, principle of equality. 14th, free and fair elections. 15th, independence of judiciary. 16th, limited power of Parliament to amend the Constitution. 17, effective access to justice. 18, principle or essence underlying fundamental rights. 19, powers of the Supreme Court under Article 32, 136, 141 and 142. 20th, powers of the High Courts under Article 226 and 227. Yeah, so now I'm coming on the question: what, according to the Supreme Court, constituted the basic feature which it upheld in cases known as Keswanand Bharti versus State of Kerala 1973, Minrua Mills versus Union of India 1980. The Supreme Court has laid down the theory of basic features as the limitation upon the amending power of Parliament. The Supreme Court, in the case of Keswanand Bharti versus State of Kerala 1973, held that Parliament cannot amend the Constitution so as to destroy the basic features of it. In this case, the court has not made any final list of these basic features, but it enumerated some provision of our Constitution as the basic features in this case. They are supremacy of the Constitution, republican and democratic forms of government, secular character of the Constitution, separation of powers between the executive and judiciary, federal character of the Constitution, dignity of the individual secured by various freedom and basic rights in Part 3rd, mandate to build a welfare state contained in Part 4, unity and integrity of the nation, parliamentary democracy. In case of Minrua Mills 1980, the Supreme Court has added some more features to this list. They are limited power of Parliament to amend the Constitution, harmony and balance between fundamental rights and directive principle, fundamental rights in certain cases, power of judicial review, independence of judiciary. The next question is: how does the Parliament control the financial system in India? How does the Parliament control the financial system in India? How does the Parliament control the financial system in India? First of all, I would like to tell you some important fact about Parliament. The Parliament is the legislative organ of the Union government. The Parliament is the legislative organ of the Union government. It occupies a preeminent and central position in the Indian democratic political system due to adoption of the parliamentary form of government, also known as Westminster model of government. Westminster model of government. This fact I have taken from Lakshmikant Polity book. Westminster Model of Government. Article 79 to 122. Article 79 to 122 in Part 5th of the Constitution will deal with the organization, composition, duration, officers, procedure, privileges, powers, and so on of the Parliament. Now coming to the question is, how does the Parliament control the financial system in India? The constitutional procedure regarding financial matters ensure the supremacy of Lok Sabha. The Constitution provides that no tax shall be levied or collected except by authority of Parliament. Parliamentary authority here means that it will be discussed by both the House of Parliament. The annual financial statement, popularly known as budget, containing estimate of all receipt and expenditure, are laid down before each house by the President. It is discussed in both houses. However, Rajya Sabha has no right to amend it, but it is open for discussion. The Lok Sabha has to sanction the budget in advance of every year. The money to be charged upon the consolidated fund is all about put to discussion. However, the expenditure charged on the consolidated fund by constitution is not open for vote, but other expenditure proposed to be made from the fund is open to vote. The amount thus sought from the consolidated funds is to be passed as demands for grants in Lok Sabha. Demands for grants in Lok Sabha. Money can be withdrawn only by the appropriation bill to be passed by the Lok Sabha, having power to control expenditure. The railway budget is also passed through the voting procedure in Parliament. All these demands for grants in the nature of request by the minister to the Lok Sabha to grant authority for expenditure mentioned therein. These demands in any form are subject to cut motion in three ways. Number 1, token cut. It cuts the demand by 100 rupees. Token cut. It cuts the demand by 100 rupees. 2, economic cut. It reduces the demand to economize the expenditure. Economic cut. It reduces the demand to economize the expenditure. And 3rd, disapproval of policy cut. Disapproval of policy cut. It reduces the demand to rupee 1, disapproving the policy. It reduces the demand to rupee 1, disapproving the policy. Please do not forget to share, subscribe, and